Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here, and I have my wife's 2012 Honda Odyssey in the garage today. This video is something of an amendment to a previous video that I did where I replaced the valve cover gaskets and grommets and spark plug well seals and all that kind of thing, and did a valve adjustment on this 3.5 liter V6. All of that was to address an oil leak that was sort of dripping down on the top of an alternator that I very recently replaced. If there's an oil leak on the front of your engine like there was on mine and it's leaking down onto the alternator, it can damage that alternator, and that's an expensive replacement. So I'm trying to protect that investment here. I've been monitoring the van since I've done those, since I did the work previously, we're replacing all those gaskets, and I find there's still a small leak coming from that same area, and I believe it's coming from the spool valve on the front cylinder head. I also posted about this on social media, and a lot of people said this is a common problem. So today I'm going to be replacing the gaskets that go to that spool valve assembly in the front, and hopefully address these oil leaks once and for all, banishing them forever. Stay tuned. I've got the van up on ramps today, and I did this, well, because it's easy. And I wanted to raise the front of the vehicle up just enough for me to, well, comfortably work on the engine. I'm kind of a tall guy, and that's the reason I did this. You don't necessarily have to raise the vehicle in order to do this, but even if you're putting it up on ramps, I suggest activating the parking brake just to make sure that nothing goes anywhere while you work. I'm going to start this repair by removing the engine cover, and I'm using a flathead screwdriver just to undo these two front clips. And once you've done that, just turn them counterclockwise. That releases them. There's just a rubber grommets in the back that hold the back piece on. You may notice this blue stuff here, that's washer fluid. I had a washer fluid leak here. One of the squirters went bad and I replaced it. So if you notice the blue stuff, don't worry about that, I fixed it. You may find exactly what I have here on your cover. One of the rubber grommets came off with the engine cover. Don't worry about that. I recommend taking them off of the cover and putting them back in the intake manifold. There's two areas where they go into. One of mine is missing. Put them back into the intake manifold. I think that makes it easier to install the cover. I'm happy to see that overall, every place else on the engine, I seem to have resolved the oil leak that I was having. And my wife's been driving it for about a week or so now, and everything is great. This is the spool valve assembly here, which we will be removing in order to get to the gaskets. You can undo the alternator and all the connections there and the AC compressor, and that will give you tons of room here. But I think there's going to be enough room just by removing some of these clips here to get the harness assembly to come up off of its bracket like that. And I think that'll be enough to get to what we need to get to. The first thing I'm going to do here is some cleaning, and I'm doing it now instead of when I have the spool valve assembly off, because that will help prevent dirt and stuff from getting down inside the engine when I clean. So I'm going to take actually this shop rag, and I'm going to stuff it down along the cylinder head here, so that as I clean, I'm not soaking that alternator that I'm trying to protect with a bunch of stuff. I'm just using brake cleaner to do this. I recommend non-chlorinated. I also put a piece of cardboard up underneath here before I started doing this to protect my garage floor. Next, what I recommend you do is remove the dipstick and put it someplace safe. And I recommend this because this plastic top can break off super easy. Now I'm going to do what I can to get this harness out of the way. And to do that, disconnect these electrical connectors here. They're on the spool valve and pressure switch. This one's a pressure switch, actually. And I think I can get a little more room if I go in and I remove this fastener right here. So there's a fastener that holds the harness down on top of the alternator bracket. I'm going to remove that now. And I'll be using my swivel socket. It's 10 millimeters, if I didn't say that already. I think I can undo a couple of these coil packs and maybe get even more. That does net us a bit more room. I've decided that this might be even easier if I come in and remove two of the fasteners that hold down this bracket. So this bracket, when I go to lift this up off here, it's kind of in the way of some stuff. It's just held on by two fasteners. There's one fastener back here, 10 millimeter, And there's one fastener right here in the front. I have an idea. I may just remove one of these fasteners completely, and the other one I may just have to, well, I may just be able to partially remove, and that'll allow this thing to swing down. So there. Yeah, you can just remove that one fastener, that swings out of the way. This whole assembly, the root of it is actually part of the cylinder head. So this all goes underneath the valve cover. However, this fastener here, and I believe these two fasteners here down by the dipstick are the ones you need to remove. I'm still staying with my 10mm theme here. There's one fastener. Just to give you a heads up, with the three that I took out, the longest one is the one in the front. Let's see if we can have it now. And we can. There's one of the gaskets. You can actually see where it was kind of leaking and piling up there. Then there is what appears to be a separator plate. You do not want to damage the surface. It is a sealing surface. There we go. Come on. There we are. So there's the separator plate. And we can go in for that inner gasket. But before I do a little bit of cleaning of the area with my rag. Yeah, make sure that surface is shiny and nice. There we are. That's beautiful. Go grab a pocket screwdriver so I can pop that inner piece out, or that inner gasket out. I might have found something better than a pocket screwdriver. It's already coming apart, so I can tell that it's an issue. See, it's coming apart. If it's coming out in pieces, you know you're doing something right. And this is just a pick. There we are. Came out in pieces, so I'm pretty sure that we're fixing something here. Now let's go over to the bench and talk about parts. Here are the part numbers for the gaskets. This is, well, I'm not sure which one this is. This is the lower one that has the screen in it, which you can see on mine is smashed. And this is the other one on the top piece. So there are your part numbers for both of these. Now, I wanted to talk about the parts because I am a fan of Honda parts, especially when it comes to gaskets and I'm fixing oil leaks. However, when you run these numbers through Honda, they come up as unavailable. But if you run them through eBay, they come up with this. Therefore, I'm not certain that these are actually Honda parts because, well, I'm not sure if they're available. They could be, but I honestly don't know. There's a lot of counterfeit stuff out there. So I'm going to clean up this piece here, install the new gasket, and I'm actually going to go in and try to straighten out my screen a little bit so that it's more like this instead of like what it is there before I install it. So this piece we're going to clean, install the new gasket, get the old gasket out, and put these new ones in that may or may not be real. Now, when you try to fix this through Honda, they want to sell you this whole spool valve assembly for a couple $100 instead of the gaskets. So I don't know what's up with that. But since I believe the spool valve is working just fine, I don't feel the need to replace it. So you may be able to see down inside here the way this works. Some of these passages have pressurized oil going into them. This spool valve assembly, there's a pressure switch here that monitors everything. But this spool valve assembly is electronically activated, and it will move this valve on the inside here. I don't know if I can get it to move or not. I might be able to. So it'll move that valve, which redirects oil pressure through here into the different components in the cylinder head, which disable the cylinders. So that's, in a nutshell, how that works. And then if there's a problem and the pressure is not there where it's expected, this pressure switch detects it and will set off a check engine light to disable the system. So the pressure switch is kind of the hall monitor. Get the old gasket out. This would be the one we're after for this. Fits like a Honda gasket. Found this really small screwdriver that I'm going to use to sort of bend this back into shape. Although I'm kind of seeing here to where this just comes right out like that. Nothing wrong with my old one. Well, that was like too easy. It's really just a matter of reversing what you just did, which I hope you note wasn't a whole lot. So this isn't a difficult oil leak to fix, it seems. Next up, our separator plate. And then the spool valve assembly. And the long one goes here, and the short ones go in the back. All right, that seems all installed. Don't forget the dipstick. Also, now, let's not forget that fastener that holds the harness down to the alternator bracket. In fact, it's kind of cool. You really only needed one tool for this whole job, the 10mm. Definitely want to take my rag out. It's no longer needed in there. And yeah, it did soak up quite a bit of stuff. I think what I want to do is start the engine and look to see if I have any major leaks. If I don't, we can install the engine cover and call all of this done. I don't see any oil spraying out anywhere. I think that's a good sign. No check engine lights either. No, it's been a few days and a few miles since I performed this repair, and I just checked it and everything is all dry. It looks like my alternator is safe. Very happy about that. I think the most important takeaway about this whole thing is to make sure that you torque those fasteners properly. I didn't initially, and what I ended up doing was I over-torqued them. I just torqued them by hand. My wife called me up and she says the van's misfiring, the check engine light's on. Well, it turned out over-tightening those fasteners caused that spool valve to stick inside of its bore. So when it applied, it stayed applied and kept those rocker arms on cylinder number 4 open. So cylinder number 4 was a complete dead miss. And that was all because I over-tightened those fasteners. So 6 to 8 pound-feet on those fasteners only. And this is how I got there. I have a digital torque wrench here. Unfortunately, it only goes down to 10 foot-pounds. But it gives me a digital readout, so as I was coming up to 10 foot-pounds, I could stop at 7. That's what I did. I stopped at 7 foot-pounds, and that seemed to solve the issue. Like I said, she's been driving it for days, hasn't had any issues. I got this 3/8 to a 1/4 inch reducer, and then I'm using this 1/4 inch extension, and then this 1/4 inch 10mm swivel here. That's how I accomplished it. In fact, you could just do this in a 1/4 inch ratchet and pretty much do this entire operation. However, I must warn you, this may not be the only oil leak. On my van, the valve cover was also leaking. I've got a video covering that valve cover gasket replacement along with a valve adjustment on this van. That'll be linked down in the description. Useful information there, a lot of good stuff. So check the description for that. Also, if you have automotive questions not covered in this video, I ask that you head to EricTheCarGuy.com, also linked in the description, along with some additional videos about Honda Odyssey stuff. I think you're following the theme here. Check the description. I always load that up with important stuff. Thank you so much for watching today. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty. I'll see you next time.